spoke so much life into me. I remember at some point he was just like telling some of his friends, and he's just like, "Now my girl's gonna be the Oprah of South Africa." You know?
Oh, Oprah, watch out! You retired at a very bad time, my sister.
And that's the confidence that those affirmations gave me, right? Because I knew that I have backing. Then there was this insane belief that I had, you know?
And I think what is more heartbreaking when we're talking about father wounds from the perspective of daughters is that we are not even in total control of how our children are going to experience their fathers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the scariest thing. I always say the fatherhood story is one that's not told often enough in African households. And it's even more scary and more daunting when the story is actually a wound that you, nor anyone around you, wants to keep on revisiting. What happens though when the wound is non-existent in your childhood, but somehow it becomes one that you can't bear to even live through when you're older? Welcome to the Father Wound Podcast. I'm your host, Keamogetswe Matlala, dressed by Yellow Sub Trading and connected by Oppo. Today, I have a gorgeous lady. She doesn't know this yet, but she's my first lady to ever grace me with her presence on the podcast.
That is insane.
I've only had males before. And so there's a certain level of obviously getting out of my comfort zone when it comes to men.
Yes.
But today, you can finally say, you will hear how relatable my story is based on this story we're about to hear. Welcome, Bolele.
Oh my gosh. It feels so good to be here, but it's also like so nerve-wracking, right? Because I'm usually that side.
Exactly.
And I'm usually the one that's like, okay, let's go. Let me ask you all the questions.
Come on, she's a television and radio broadcaster, so today I feel like I'm auditioning. So bear that in mind throughout this podcast episode, because I might just stumble upon my words. This is an audition. Who knows? She might need a co-host soon.
You never know.
You never know. Welcome to this safe space that you have been following for so long. I think a lot of people don't know this, but I think from the very first time I started posting about this, you were like, hold on. What's going on, girl? What did it?
No,
what did we do to you
real.
for this to even exist?
Yeah.
And I said, I think it's more about me, but I need the tables to turn.
Yeah.
I need to have more people come on and make me feel like it's not just me.
You.
I need this to be a community, man. It's a club.
Absolutely. I think it's definitely going to turn into a community and into a club. And I think that's the beauty about life, right? We go through the things that we go through, and we don't realize that though there is a uniqueness in our story, there is someone that can relate or someone that can take away from it, right? And I think that's why I'm here.
That's why you're here.
And
if you don't have a favorite episode of The Father Wound yet, at this point, this one, might just be your favorite one. The girlies gather around. You're in for a treat. Because with this one...
Now you're putting pressure.
It's not pressure. I know what is on the table. But I want us to start here. Yeah. On the spectrum of fatherhood experiences, where are you as a daughter? Did you have a present, an absent, or a complicated father?
I had an insanely present father. And I'm so glad that I am at the point that I'm at in my life right now, that I can say that with the smile on my face. I can say that and feel proud. I can say that and recognize that, oh my gosh, girl, you had some insane bragging rights growing up, you know? I literally grew up as a girl that was her daddy's angel. I was daddy's girl.
I see it.
Oh, really?
I don't even know where you get this old masculinity from, because you were you're giving a princess. So why is there no femininity? What happened?
So that's where it gets twisted, right? Because growing up, when I obviously became quite cognizant of the world, I'm now analyzing both worlds, right? My dad's world and my mom's world. And I think for most parts of our upbringing, we grow up and we associate our parents to be our parents. And we disassociate them from being people in this world, navigating life, right?
beings.
Exactly. But the great thing about my upbringing was that my parents loved to experience life with me. You know, my dad loved to experience life with me.
You were the child that was put on the bike.
Yes, 100%. Put on the bike and it's like, let's go, let's go, let's go. It's like, go, 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 go. You know, I was literally that girl. And it's great because I experienced it from both sides. I think a lot of the time, even though we have moments where we've got present parents, the one is more dominant than the other, right? And for a very long time, it almost kind of seemed like it was like that with me. But I think in my later years, I then got to realize that no, the presence was equal on both sides, right? My dad was the person that taught me how to drive. He is the reason I am like one of the best drivers.
You know.
Like I'm just like, You're just like about my driving, and I'm just
Take
like,
me to CBD. I got this.
and that's the crazy part, because then it got to that point where my dad literally had this thing where he taught me the basics, where he was obviously teaching me the car and what's inside the car, and then he teaches me how to move a car, and then for the rest of my driving lessons, he just gave me the car. And he said, okay, there's the car. Go outside and do what you need to. Exactly. And being the brave girl that I was growing up, I didn't mind it. I felt like, oh man, this is nice. And I would drive around, and at a point where he felt like, okay, cool, we've done enough lessons. I've given you your freedom. I've given you your independence. Let's take the real test. The real test was literally driving in Joburg CBD. And I remember it was both of them.
How many times did you scream?
Funny enough, I didn't, because I always experienced my mom driving in CBD and how she was just like, survival of the fittest. Yeah,
I got
you just have to, you know? And that was the exact approach that I took, you know, and it was great. If there's one thing that I really start to recognize now in my older years about my relationship with my dad, is that my ability to talk, my ability to express myself, my ability to engage in conversation, my ability to want to sit down and have conversations is because of my dad. My dad would come home after a day of work, find me in my room, and he'd sit on my bed. And he would be like, okay, my girl, let's talk, you know? And
routine talks.
Like literally routine talks. And you would think it's the basic, how was your day and whatever. And though the conversation would start there, my dad comes into the room to discuss spiritual matters with me, entrepreneurial matters with me, a whole lot of things with me. Exactly, right? And at the time, I was used to feel like, exactly.
Oh my God.
I was just be like, I just want to be alone.
Little did you know that he was basically planting a seed into the podcast that you're in, because we could throw you into any space now, and
I will adjust. I will do what I need to do. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing, and it's so crazy because I think from a very young age, there was something that both my parents recognized about me, right? It's in how my mom raised me, how my mom potty trained me, how my mom, you know, allowed me to be independent, but still kept me under her care, right? It's in my dad recognizing that there's this profoundness that you carry, and I want to learn from it, but I also want to teach you something, you know? It's in all of that I then became a very confident girl growing up, and my home experiences and my outside lived experiences then started to be polarized in a sense, because at home it's this safe environment, it's this place where I get to express myself, it's this place where I get to be myself, right? And then outside, I had gone through like many different experiences where I had lost my front teeth at some point, but because of how I was at home, I was still confident going outside. I entered school idols with no front teeth, and I sang school idols.
Sissy, how did that work? Because
exactly,
there are certain phonetics you can't really.
But Fifi,
and you still said, "I'm taking
and
it."
I was just like, I'm going to do it. And weirdly so, I think it's because of the confidence that I made it that far in the competition, right? I remember my mom being in front there and she was just like, oh my girl, I'm so proud of you. Sometimes my dad wasn't there, but at certain moments he was present, you know? And in a lot of the conversations we had, my dad always said, you're going to be a very powerful person in this world.
Speaking life into you.
He spoke so much life into me. I remember at some point he was just like telling some of his friends, and he's just like, "Now my girl's gonna be the Oprah of South Africa." You know?
Oh, Oprah, watch out! You retired at a very bad time, my sister.
And at that age, I was just very much like, you know, and it's just like, oh, that's a little bit too big and whatever. But when you grow up and you start to recognize what those words did for you as an individual, you begin to realize the importance of being poured into, right? You begin to realize the weight that those words carried. You begin to realize that, oh my gosh, I stand proud and firm as I am today because of that foundation. That foundation was so solid for me. I remember even, like I said, my parents loved to experience their life with me, right? My dad loved Formula One. There was a time when there was a drag race in Santon at some point. Come guys, let's go. Me and my younger brother, let's go. And we sit there.
And now
right?
you're a big fan.
No, exactly.
Listen,
and now I'm just like, hey.
On the day that Formula One is it's undergoing, don't even call Bolele. Oh, don't call her. She's not gonna
Now
answer.
I'm just like, hey man, let's go to Monaco. Let's do Abu Dhabi. You know, I'm just now wanting to further extend my experiences that I had growing up. And I literally sit back today and I'm just like,
Thank you.
Thank you. Literally, I am just like, thank you. I recognize and I realize and I understand that I speak the way that I speak. I comprehend the way that I comprehend. I carry myself the way that I carry myself because of the gift that you gave me. And I think it is a gift. Fatherhood is a gift, you know? And a lot of men run away from that gift because it is a gift that carries so much weight.
And responsibility.
You're literally shaping another human being and ultimately sort of kind of deciding the type of person that you want them to be in this world.
There's a whole generation.
Exactly.
In your hands.
Exactly, right? And my parents were very intentional about that. They were just like, hey, powerhouse, this one. We are raising here to be a powerhouse.
But now you paint such a perfect picture.
Yeah.
I think probably everyone listening now or watching is probably like, oh, I also want that, Dad.
Yeah.
And then it changed.
And then it does change. It does change because people go through their experiences in life. They experience life through the lens of their own eyes. And things happen along their journey, right? And it all changed when my mom passed. But the crazy thing is the signs were always there. Yeah.
Everything just surfaced to a point of no ignorance.
When my mom passed. And it showed me that she was actually a big shield in all of what was happening, you know. She literally carried the cross for her kids. And she would share her stories, you know. She would share her stories, and I remember saying to her, you have a choice. You have a choice in life, and I think we are old enough, we being me and my younger brother, we are old enough to start to figure life out in a household that might need separate parents. And it's okay, choose what is important for you. But my mom heavily believed in a family unit. My mom was very intentional about a family unit. And there obviously then is the other side of, but my whole life has been shaped by this marriage. My whole life has been shaped by the fact that we've got kids, we're raising kids, you know. Maybe let me start sharing my experiences with my kids. But because of the way they raised us, we were very independent in our thinking. And it was like, that is your experience, and I can acknowledge and recognize it. However, this is my experience. And she never expected us to change the relationship. But I think I realize now in hindsight, now that she's gone, she just wanted to be heard. And it's how you engage a person that shares that story that will tell you whether they are heard or not, right? And it's crazy because there's this thing that people say, and I've seen the conversation online where it's like, he can be a horrible husband but a great father, you know? And in my journey towards healing that, I had the biggest realization and revelation, and I was just like, yeah, but that very horrible person still exists, even in that great relationship that you may have. And you don't know and you don't understand why the two opposites are so extreme. But when you decide to dissect and you try to understand and try to look at it from a different point of view, you then realize that, oh no, it's always been the same person.
Actually.
Yeah, just
Who
serving
chooses
their own needs in a different way. I don't know what he needed from being a good father. I don't know what he needed, you know? I realized that there were great conversations that we had, and maybe how I poured into him and how he poured into me did something for him. But when the relationship changed, I realized that it was more for him than it was for me.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah.
And that was hard. That was hard, and I think I further expanded in the letter that I wrote. But it became hard because the very stories that my mom would share about the person she was experiencing fast became my experience.
Quickly.
Very quickly.
And I think when you first told me about this part of your story, I think what broke my heart even more was the fact that not only did you lose your mom, but that was also around the time where you were supposed to be your dad's biggest pride.
Yeah.
I think as a daddy's princess, there's a part of your being that almost serves to make your dad proud.
Yeah.
There's a part of you that you may not have a lot, but hearing your dad say, I'm proud of you, covers all fronts, all the gaps you may have had. And now you're going through a time where you're not only dealing with a loss, but you also get your biggest break in broadcasting.
Yeah.
And you kind of wait for your dad to be like, I'm proud of you. But instead,
my experience is so different.
Yeah, he switches up.
Yeah.
What is going through your mind during that time?
It's so crazy because, like you say, you know, especially when you were being affirmed like that, you know, when the reality and the realization of who you could become existed in them before you took ownership of it, right? So you work hard because you realize that this person believes in me. This person wants to see me become, and I'm going to make him proud.
I'm doing this for him.
I'm doing this for him. Literally, I'm doing this so that he can be that dad that can say, I told you, you know? And when all of that happens, because it's, oh man, it's so crazy. When all of that happens, on one side, my entire world is falling apart, right? And on the other side, I have to show up for this very dream that we fought so hard
For as a family.
you know? And it's literally as a family. I remember before getting the 947 job, there was a YFM Be the Next, the first round of it. And my mom was still alive during that time. And I could see the pride, you know? I could see the pride. But the shift had already begun, right? Because the sort of pride I expected to receive from my dad was so absent, you know? Like, I expected my dad to be more the one that's just like, no, let's go get people to vote. Let's, you know?
As he usually did.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was my mom that now was like sending to the WhatsApp groups. Now we're in COVID, so all we're doing is like, you know, on cell phone, you would even hear her, le votang, you know?
Almost every day.
Exactly. Yeah. But in that moment, there was a silence that was very, very evident and vivid. And it was the silence from my dad, you know? And though there are those utterances, yeah, revotile, no, keep going, well done, and whatever. But the silence was so loud because you know how he shows up for you, right? You know the sort of pride that he had when he recognized the person he was raising. And when you don't feel that anymore, there are many thoughts that go on in your mind where it's just like, number one, is he okay? You know, why, you know? Number two, what's going on? Number three, does he recognize how
big of a deal this is?
Exactly, you know? And then we go into hard lockdown and there's a pause on everything. And now we're all in the house, right? But we're all in the house separately.
In isolation.
In isolation. Like literally everyone is in their own room. And there would be moments where we don't know where he is. You know, where it's like, oh, the TV room, silent. The bedroom, the study, silent. My mom is in there. I'm in my room. My brother's in his room. Where is he? You know? And he's in the house. He's in the house, but how moboni? You know, like how moboni?
It's almost like he's hiding away.
You know, and I think that was what became so painful because it's like, Uteng, but he's not, you know? And fine, eventually we come out of hard lockdown. The YFM competition comes to an end. Oh yeah, well, my mom passes in the midst of all of that. We get the email, oh no, we have to finish the competition. And I'm still in my mourning period, you know, because Kasito, we mourn for like 3 months or so. And I'm still in the mourning period. But because I have an insane relationship with God, I just prayed and I'm just like, well, this is what's happening, this competition, and I don't know what I must do now in the mourning period because the family is saying no. The family being my dad and my grandmother, his mom, saying no, you have to mourn. And in my mind, I'm like,
this is a dream I've been praying for. What
exactly,
do you mean?
Like, if anything, you're supposed to say, no, we're breaking protocol. Let's go.
We'll make sure you're home before let's at least
exactly, you know? And eventually then that was what came through. Okay, Tamaya, but before the sun comes down, be back, you know? And the nature of that competition was not that kind of competition. We were out at night because our audition was on Lula's show and she was doing the night show, you know? So I rebelled, and I rebelled with confidence because, you know, when the Holy Spirit enters your midst, there's a confidence that you'll carry, an assurance that you know, hore, anyone around me can disagree with what I'm doing, but for me, I'm going. And I went, and the competition didn't turn out the way that I thought it would, and there was this peace in me. And funny enough, the person that won the competition, me and him are like, yo, thick as thieves, man. And I remember saying to him, no, well done. Like, I love this for you. Congratulations. And in my own quiet space, I was just saying, oh, no, God, I know you're still cooking. You know?
A bigger pot.
I know you are still cooking, you know? And I think it was like a week or a month or something after that.
But it was very shortly after.
Very shortly after that 947 opened the competition, and I was just like,
here's that big pot.
Let's go. You know, I was literally like, yeah. Because on my campus radio days, when anybody used to ask me, where do you want to work after campus? I would say 947. You know, I was just like, I'm going to 947. And people were just like, whoa, that's a bit outrageous. Like,
also, because you don't just enter there.
Exactly.
You don't just
Exactly,
please.
you know?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you have to start somewhere first before. And I'm like,
Do you know
not
me?
me. And that's the confidence that those affirmations gave me, right? Because I knew that I have backing. Then there was this insane belief that I had, you know? And I'm like, yeah, no, nah, my journey is not gonna be like that. And the doors open, you know? And the first person that you wanna know, that you wanna tell, one has passed on and the relationship is now getting distorted.
Yeah. And with that now, because I can't imagine how you were showing up for these competitions and these auditions with all the emotional baggage you were already carrying from having lost your mom recently. And now you feel like you're now all alone because your dad is also, you know, pretty much absent out of nowhere. Very abruptly so. Yeah. And now you're kind of preparing yourself for possible rejection. Because that's the biggest hard knock about auditions and competitions.
100%.
The rejection.
100%.
And you saying you still felt at peace.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Did it feel like it was your mom saying, I'm proud of you for having chased your dreams even though you're dealing with all these things in your life?
Very big part of me feels that's exactly what it was. Because even when showing up for the 947 competition, I go home and I'm in this darkness, but I step out and there's this push, you know. It's almost like she's like, let's go, you know. And I literally like just owned that phase of my life where I was just like, I'm showing up. This is my dream. This is ultimately what is going to give me the freedom that I need. So there's that part as well, where you're recognizing and you're realizing that I now need freedom from this space that has now turned dark. And this is my big dream. And not only am I now just pursuing this for the passion, but I'm also pursuing it because I need a way out.
It's an escape now.
Yeah.
But now, before it becomes an actual manifestation of an escape where you're just like, yo, I can even move out, you still have to come back to a house where your dad isn't the same person.
Yeah.
How do you face him?
Weirdly so, I face him. Weirdly so, I face him because now, you know, when the person that was shielding a lot of things passes, now a lot of things don't have a place to hide. And they start coming out, right? And I'm also now realizing, I'm just like, yo.
It's a lot.
Exactly. And because I was raised as a girl that used to have conversations with her dad, my immediate instinct is...
have a conversation with your dad.
Exactly, right? My immediate instinct is like, when?
Actually.
What's happening?
What's going on with you?
But the reception of it was obviously not...
what you expected.
what I expected. But I will also be fair in saying that my approach wasn't also what he expected.
You were more confrontational.
I was very confrontational. Now I was like, you know? And in that moment, you're just thinking, no, we have to talk, but you have to know how I feel, type thing, you know? And because you realize and you recognize like there's a whole lot, and because we're going through so much, it's at your hands. You want answers, you know? Because my dad was always the person that was like, give me answers.
So now you're the one
now I'm
wanting
like,
answers.
Give me answers.
Tables
Give me
have
answers. Exactly. You know? And then I don't get answers, and then it just goes silent, and my voice goes silent. And the only place where my voice comes alive is at work, you know? But at home, I'm silent. I'm silent. I get home, lock myself in my room, come out and all of that. And eventually I leave home in a panic. I leave home after waking up from a dream, and it's just like, hey man, you have to get out of here. You know?
It no longer serves you.
Yeah. And I left without even taking my clothes.
Girl, what is the plan?
I left and I went and I stayed at my place. And And the plan was to get my brother to bring them slowly, because that's the kind of escape that was necessary in that moment.
That's how urgent it was.
It was very urgent.
You couldn't pick up.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, where are you going? No, I'm just going to work. Bye.
And he never...
And that was the last time he saw me before he initiated a meet after a lot of things with my mom's affairs and stuff needed to be dealt with, you know. But then you realize that the reaching out, you realize that the conversations that he's trying to have are not for anyone else but him. They're not for anyone else but him and what he wants. He's only reaching out because he wants us to just hand over what my mom left us.
And it further cements the whole feeling you had around, he was a present father, sure, but it was more for him than it was for me.
Exactly. And the very same monster that he was in his marriage has now become the monster that he is in the father-daughter relationship.
I'm so sorry. I think I would have so much difficulty trying to reconcile that is the very same person
I did.
that raised me into the
did.
superstar that I am.
I did. But, you know, then you go back to the stuff that he would say, where he would say, there's this profoundness that you carry. It's almost like you and God, like, are best friends, you know? And he was right. Me and God were best friends. It's just the relationship was very different from how society paints the relationship and how it ought to look. I remember when I experienced hardship in school, when I was being bullied because of my teeth and all of that, I'd always come home and write.
The teeth that look perfect today? Damn, girl.
Girl!
Wouldn't have...
Hey, my mom fought for these teeth.
Wouldn't have guessed.
Oh, girl. My mom was just like, not my child, eh? Not my child. When I say I have a good relationship with dentists,
please.
Oh, Sana, I'm not joking.
Sure.
She made sure, like from a young age, because now, how I lost my teeth, I was playing on a seesaw with my older cousin, and I jumped off the seesaw and the seesaw knocked me, right? And now my teeth are broken, they have to be taken out, but my gums were also injured.
Oh my
and the
Lord.
dentists weren't able to pick that up. So when my teeth were supposed to grow back, they're not growing back.
Because of the
Exactly.
gum
So
injuries.
in and out of dentistry and all of that was literally my life. And my mom was like, we will go. We will even find. Yeah, you know? So that is like, you know, the efforts that my parents put into this person that sits here today.
That superstar you see and listen to.
You know?
Yeah.
So when you then do get to a point where you actually just realize, damn, man, it's hard to reconcile all of that effort with my current reality.
Yeah, like how was that?
Exactly.
How is that the same person?
Exactly. And you go quiet. You go very quiet. And I'm at a place in my career where I'm supposed to be maximizing and optimizing every single opportunity that comes my way. But unfortunately, a year or two into that, my grief begins.
Imagine.
You know?
And it comes crashing.
Crashing because I'm grieving the loss of my mom. I'm grieving the loss of my dad.
Who's
but
still
he's alive.
very much alive.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You know? And then you start to experience things outside. And now there's no safe space at all. Because growing up, the safe space was home.
You can always go back.
Exactly. You knew, right? They
reset
teasing me
button.
there, but when I get home, I'm queen type thing, you know? And now my entire world is just like, no. How dare you? Who do you think you are?
Did you ever try, after obviously confronting him, did you ever try doing it differently? Because you were like, maybe I came on maybe too hard.
Yeah. I opted to write. And I wrote, you know, text messages and all of that. But when I go back to realizing and understanding the relationship that I have with God and the things that God has helped me understand, the things that God has helped me realize, I knew I was not going to get the truth.
It was all just going to be excuses.
Yeah, because I started to understand that it was never about anyone else. It was never about anyone else. But here's the crazy part, right? We had the conversations growing up. And in those conversations, he often expressed why he didn't carry himself a certain way and why he made certain choices like not drinking and all of that. And he attributed it to what he experienced growing up and how he viewed his dad and all of that, right? And then you get older and you realize that, oh, it's the wounds.
You were also chased by demons.
Yeah. And that could have easily been my trajectory. That could have easily been how I walk, that I'm a wounded soul, let those demons come in and let me also be a monster. You know?
But how do you see this shift now manifest in the different parts of your life? The most... The first one would have to be obviously Njolo, because now you, outside of your father, you still need to relate to men in the world.
Yeah.
And now, not only are you relating to men, you're also bringing them into a space that you've created to be a safe space for yourself, because you don't have anyone.
I don't have anyone, yeah.
And now they come in and they also...
And that's when I discovered my father wound.
Take me back there. Oh, take me back there, child. Because I'm even afraid.
That is where I discovered my father wound.
And how deeply
and weirdly
goes.
so, yeah. Because the reality of it is that it existed even while my mom was still alive. And because of what I witnessed, right? Great father to me, but who's the person carrying most of the weight in that relationship is my mom. So how does that translate for me? I then start to be the one that carries
people.
Exactly, you know? And I remember my first ever serious relationship, my dad was like, no, when are you leaving this boy? It's not good for you.
Oh, rich coming from you.
I'm just like, but at that moment I was just like, no, my dad cares. My dad cares, you know? But he was right, because that guy was a narcissist, you know?
Could he have seen himself in him? Oh.
You know? And then eventually when I then get out of that serious relationship, I'm like now trying to navigate. And because you see that, okay, narcissism played a very big factor or role in their marriage, I don't want that for myself. And we do that, yay. And that's what he did, right? I don't want to drink because my dad, I'm going to make sure I don't. But what we don't realize and what we don't understand is that the personality, like, it always like reconfigures itself.
There are nuances that you don't pay attention to that will always replicate for as long as you're keeping that wound unhealed.
Unhealed, exactly. So then you get into a relationship and person is like, oh my gosh, on paper, oh, I'm shot
it's always on paper.
Like, oh, I'm shot you know, and it's just like, oh, the perfect person. And then you don't realize that there is a weight that you are carrying outside of picture perfect. There is still a weight that you're carrying, you know? And then a relationship ends and then it's a different kind of, you know? And I started to realize that, oh no, I'm attracting something that is reflecting
this
what
is
I
too
need
similar.
to heal. Exactly.
Too similar.
Exactly.
There's no way that this pattern is happening and I'm allowing it.
Exactly.
But I'm not contributing to it.
Exactly. So how I showed up in a lot of my relationships was I was the independent, strong, I don't need you type. And you'd expect different from a daddy's girl, right? You'd expect when your car breaks down, you're waiting for your partner to be like, hey, come, let me.
Oh, that's me now.
Teach us your ways.
That's me now. I always tell my partner, I will lock this car on the highway. You'll come fetch it.
And that's how we should be, right? Like, if you are really going to bask in your feminine, if you are really just going to decide that what was poured into you is what needs to continue to reflect in your life, you literally have to decide, right? But I then started to realize that I carry myself like this in relationship because I saw my mom carry herself like that in relationship, right?
So that was normalizing.
So it was normalized. Oh, you don't have the money. Okay. Was nice.
Don't do that. Don't give men money, please. Because as soon as they see that you have it, they will not stop wanting it from you and expecting it from you.
Yeah.
And it's gonna almost.
Or they stop showing up. Because you can do it.
Oh, you got this.
Exactly. You can do it. So why do I need to,
Also, since when do you ask me money for bread?
Exactly.
You do that every other day.
Exactly. So suddenly, then you're scared of asking. Then it's just like, hi.
Yeah.
And then the silence in your voice continues and it gets louder and gets louder and gets louder. And then you then at some point realize that, no, I need to heal before I allow myself into any other relationship.
And what's the one memory of your father that kind of finds you battling with your reality now, where you're like, I would rather hold on to this version of this person because it heals something in me. It's kind of part of my healing. Because I think we all have that. And I think for me, that was my 5th birthday. Oh, child.
Oh.
What was your memory? What is your memory? Where you're just like, I know the world is tough and this man might not be the most present right now, but I'm okay with holding on to this memory that I at least got this piece of him.
Every day he walked into my room and sat on my bed.
And y'all would have endless conversations.
Yeah. I miss the conversationalist. I miss the person that gave me perspective. The person that I also had the ability to give perspective. That's the memory that has me struggling in my adult life because then I get into a relationship and I want to have a conversation and it's just not landing.
Or people are just closed off.
Or they just closed off. Or the way in which you comprehend is far removed from how the world comprehends. And it's just like, no, but the world doesn't work like that. And I'm like, exactly, because I'm creating my own,
Just allow me to bask in this.
And then you actually then go back to writing and have the conversations with God. And the beauty about all of what has been chaotic and disastrous is that it's reaffirmed my relationship with God. It's really helped me lean on God more than I have leaned on him before. Because back then, I'd lean on my parents, though the relationship was there, but I knew that, I can blow this money now. My mom will bail me out.
Please,
or my dad will bail me out, And now it's just like, woo. Exactly. And that stopped me, unfortunately. It's hindered me from being the fearless girl that I was growing up now in my adult years.
The unstoppable
Bolele. And, I have conversations with my friends and I love that I have honest friends because they are able to conscientize me towards that. Where it's just like, dude, why is your faith, Get up, You are
this
the
is
one.
not you.
Exactly. They'll just be like, you said 947 and it happened. So say this and it will happen.
Say Oprah Winfrey.
Exactly. You know.
This is 3.
And like a lot of them remind me of the dreams that I had. And it's just like, bro, we imagined this, that. Like you painted the picture for us. What's going on? And you start to realize that because I feel like a great part of my anchoring is gone, I don't feel confident or I don't feel strong or I don't feel capable anymore. And that's been a big part of my healing. That's been a big part of coming back to myself, right? And that's been a big part of what I've needed to understand and learn. Because a big part of why I allowed myself to get into relationships that innately I knew were not working for me was because of the doubt, was because of the lack of belief in what was possible for me. The lack of self-worth that I had now because what made me feel worthy is now gone, right?
And it feels like it's gone forever.
And it feels like it's gone forever. So now you start to hold on to even Pumala. But quick, you're like Puma, and you're just like, no.
Let's wait. Hold on. Ella.
Exactly. And that's the big part of myself that I had to heal. And that's the part of me that will rebirth that fearless powerhouse that my dad affirmed growing up.
What's your biggest wish now for your relationship with your father?
I don't know if it's a wish for my relationship with him, but it's a wish that I have for him, and I know that should he take that on for himself, it will change the relationship. And I just wish he heals.
From the things he doesn't even speak about.
From the things he doesn't speak about, from the things that made him make the decisions that he made, from the wounds that he then decided to allow the demons to come in and intoxicate him, you know? And that's why, for me, I can tell you now, like, the relationship that I probably just come from, I may have been hurtful in instances because of my inability to just be firm about what I want, number one. My ability to walk away when I realized it was important for me to walk away, and my need to fix. So there's just this hard, no, it can't be,
when something is broken, I better fix it.
And it's just like, no, man, you can fix it, you know?
Exactly,
and it's just like, no, man, we can do it. And I realized now, I think it was in it where I realized that if you don't heal your wounds, you will become the very thing that you are running away from. And it was that made me realize that because of the unhealed wounds, he became the very thing that he was running away from, just transmuted into either a higher version or a different, I don't know, but it transmuted, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I was just like, okay, no.
I need to do something about this.
I need to do something about this, because though I feel like I have the ability to heal, though I feel like I have the answers, I can't find the answers while still trying to give another person their answers.
And I think what is more heartbreaking when we're talking about father wounds from the perspective of daughters is that we're not even in total control of how our children are going to experience their fathers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the scariest thing.
It is, but you know, I recognize and I realize that we still need to be intentional, and we still need to heal, because it's in that healing that then we are likely to make a better choice. Because
and we stop attracting.
Exactly. You know, I would get into dark humor after my mom passed.
That's one way of dealing.
No, it really is, because you're laughing through your pain, and it's just like, you know. And I'd often say like, and I'd just be like,
but also this woman lived with this man all her life.
Exactly.
I can't even live with this man for a year. After she's left. No.
And you start to realize that, what ultimately needs to happen for us so that life for our kids can be better is for us to heal. And that's why I've been so hell-bent on the fact that I'm not getting into bringing a child into this world and I haven't healed. Because I don't want to bleed on my child. I don't want to
give them a father that is probably going to hurt them further.
Exactly. And that's the thing, when you start to heal, when there is another person that tries to enter your life, there are things that you can recognize immediately where you're just like, oh no, it's not gonna work. And you don't waste your time. And you just move right along.
The danger is when they start revealing themselves 6 months plus down the line.
Yeah.
That time you're knee deep.
Yeah. But I trust my conversations with God so much that I know I'll get that nudge, and it will then be up to me to decide. Because I always say, I don't believe that anyone gets into the world and decides that they are not going to be of God. It is their life experiences that ultimately then lead them to that, right? And if we are not listening to the nudges, that's where we'll lose ourselves.
Yeah.
Because it's those nudges that say, you know, when you can feel, I don't think I should go to that conversation with Kia. And then when you sit, you're just like,
oh, this is why.
And then you're like, no, it's fine. And then when it comes out, then you're just like, and I knew. And this is like, no, but I
why
knew.
do I trust myself to see through?
Exactly. And it's the building that relationship with God that ultimately gets you more sensitive to that. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday, and I was just like, I'm at a point in my life right now where I don't want to not listen to that voice anymore. Because, hey,
I like what you're talking about. I like that, because that is literally the basis of the foundation of this podcast, where it was just a thought, and I said, please, I don't have the money, leave me alone. That voice kept on coming to me, Bolele, for months.
Exactly.
It felt like, that chicken legging advertisement where that thing is just...
Exactly.
I think at some point I ended up just telling God, okay,
sharp.
Clearly you want this. Give me the means. Show me the means. Show me the way. Give me direction.
Will he not do it? We'll do it.
Are we not here?
Exactly.
We literally are here. Shame, I don't want to lie. That is the way to go.
100%.
Finding confidence in knowing that, and there's a scripture for it. Greater is he that is within you than he that is within the world. Literally, 100%. The voices that you keep on hearing outside in the world that tell you, oh, no, you definitely can't do that. The imposter syndromes, that this and that.
They are far removing you from that voice.
Oh, those voices are not even close to being as great as the one you're hearing 100%. Inside of yourself when you wake 100%. Up and you're just alone 100%. And in silence.
And that's why I was like, because I sit here now and I'm looking at a lot of things unfold in my life and I'm like, no, but 5 years ago, I knew this. 2 years ago, I knew this. A year ago, I knew this. So, Thomas, until when? Like, why do I want the evidence before I decide, Why? And that also then helped me like now rediscover a new layer of my relationship with God.
And
where
faith.
Exactly. And it's just like, you trust me, but only when it suits you.
Hey.
Exactly.
What happened?
Exactly.
Girl, what is this? Oh my goodness.
But only when it suits you. And when I was having the conversation with my friend, I was just like, the place that I'm in right now is requiring me to let go of a lot. Because it's in holding on that I'm sitting here and I'm like, no, but 5 years ago, I knew that. And it's because you're trying to drag everyone with you. And that's the thing, this wound spills out into every other part of your life, right? And you're trying to drag everyone with you and you're trying to fix everyone whilst you're limping and you're just like,
that time you have your own issues that you keep on
Exactly. And
ignoring.
Then when you fall and everybody's able to stand, because you help them stand, then you realize that, oh no, I have to do the work. And it's hard for the people around me because I've always been that dependable person, right? And now I'm not. For now.
And you've chosen
to
focus on yourself
100%.
And pour into your cup.
100%.
And there's something that I asked you to do so you can further pour into that cup. Long awaited. And then let me tell you, Bolele will type a long text. Please don't tempt her.
Oh no, like
don't challenge her. Don't tempt her because she's gonna take on that temptation and that challenge. Oh girl, wait. Are you proving me wrong?
No, I'm proving you right.
Yes.
I'm proving you right. Like that's how long the letter is.
I'm ready. I'm seated. Give me. Give it to me. Okay. And you know what I love about this letter? It's basically the freedom you've given yourself that you've actually wanted to get.
Yeah.
And now you finally have it and you're just like, you know what?
That is spot on. That is so spot on. Because it literally freed me.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here. That's why I can have the conversation.
And that's why she was crying at the watch party.
And I was, yeah.
Everyone, even my parents were just like, hey, you really should have her. No, everyone was invested in Bolele's story. So they'd be happy to see that we finally gave them what they were asking for on that night.
You don't know what you have just started. But you've given me the freedom to believe again. You've given me the freedom to share again. So
and express yourself.
And that's because you are safe.
Yeah.
Right? And it's because I know and I understand that when I am not safe, that's not the space.
And you're able to discern it also.
Exactly.
I'm a safe space, guys.
Oh, no, she is. Oh, she's a safe space.
Let's get into it. I'm ready for you.
All right. I said Dear Ntate and I wrote his name.
Yeah.
But for the purpose of still protecting him and
we'll just say Ntate.
I'll just say Dear Ntate. I firstly want to start off by saying thank you. I stand utterly proud of the woman I am today, given all that I've endured in my adult years at your hands. I stand today healing from my brokenness and able to recognize the role that you have played in the woman that stands able to overcome and remain graceful through it all. I initially approached writing this letter with so much anger for 2 years now. However, I've come to understand that nothing good ever comes from such a posture, and I recognize that more and more in my life as I continue to grow. Thank you for all the times you poured into me and for all the times you planted seeds in my mind that I know will blossom into good fruit one day. It's your affirmations, naming me so many beautiful things in this world, your belief and recognition of the spirit you bore that gave me confidence to go after my wildest dreams. Thank you for all the conversations, the recommendations, the ideas, and the teachings I'm able to look back at and recollect their ability to shape and grow me into a woman able to be courageous enough to even send a letter to her estranged father. It's very weird that I've now moved from having been the proudest daddy's girl, something I wore as a badge of honor, to not being able to recognize the man that I thought I deeply connected with as a young girl. I thank you today because I look back and realize that it could have been far worse. That I could have experienced the man in my upbringing, or I could have experienced this man in my upbringing, and that would have negatively impacted the trajectory of my life, and that my spirit would have had a far harder time to find its center. Though I know what I know now about even the things that may have happened back then, I recognize that it was a blessing in disguise that God did not expose me to it, because He knew that the time for it would come. And there was actually a lot that I could gain from you raising me. I do also think that He had high hopes that my presence in your life would move you enough to want to be better. However, I guess you didn't experience it like I did growing up, even though I thought you did. I recognize that you were a vessel used to bring me onto this earth, and truly you fulfilled your duties. It's almost as if you knew that I would need to completely stand on my own in my adult years and have very little reliance on anyone, more so you. I cannot begin to imagine the agony that my mom might have experienced by being your wife and choosing you, even when you created the illusion that you chose her, yet you never did. I guess the reality of her stories truly manifested when she departed the earth, because that reality fast became mine. Though I think my experience is a little diluted compared to hers, I recognize the existence of both truths. You being a loving dad, and you being a husband who did not honor his covenant. Though I'm now also able to recognize that both truths came from the same man, and by virtue of us later experiencing the unkind and wounded man, I realize that for us, the loving father role might have also just been an illusion. I'm quite curious to understand what parts of yourself you're running away from that had you decide to show up as an elusive soul in this world, more so when I needed you most. I've chosen to write a book on my experiences. And there's a chapter on spiritual abuse. Because no one cares to speak about that. Many are walking around as confident souls in this world, but are deeply wounded and placing reliance on forces contrary to God's will. Those forces too are elusive and exist to wound anything that carries light that is trying to exist in this world. And they penetrate through those that refuse to heal their wounds. I'm choosing my words quite carefully here because the very thing I'm trying to explain is not one easily understood, because it lacks tangible evidence, and that's why it thrives in this world of ordered chaos. You shared your stories about your upbringing, yet you never really expressed the wounds that manifested in you as a result of it. I wish you'd given yourself a chance to heal those wounds before they became destructive and damaged what at one point was a good thing, depending on how you choose to look at it. I've had enough conversations with you to know that you are very well aware of what I'm talking about, that you are very well aware of the world and life as it exists and how it ought to exist. I do not write this letter to point fingers and try to show you your wrongs. I think that duty has solely become yours, and the journey of it will unfold dependent on how honest and reflective you choose to be and how happy you are with your life currently. This really was just a letter for my release, my healing, and my spirit. I no longer want to be bound by negativity and operate from a low vibrational place. Staying in that allows for the manifestation of all things negative, and I know I deserve better than that because you told me I do. You taught me to hold people to account. You taught me to always operate from a place of love. Oh, my dad. He always used to say, "It's all about love, my girl." Oh, Zana. Oh.
It's all about love.
It's all about love. And he would say, it's all about love. And he would say, God is love. You know? He would say, God is love. And I believe that. I believe it, and I carry that with me even as an adult. And I say, God is love. Allow yourself to experience the love that is God. You know? But yeah, you taught me to always operate from a place of love and taught me to understand my divinity. And I understand it now. And in order for it to express its fluidity well in this world, I have to let go of things that no longer serve me. And one of those being anger. I hope you one day choose to drop the illusions and live according to what you taught us. I know God will work things out enough for His will to be done. But until then, I wish you healing. I'm not quite sure if this Father's Day is a happy one because I sent the letter on Father's Day.
And you did say...
I'm not quite sure if this Father's Day is a happy one. However, I'm able to recognize that my life is moving under the will of God and that my life isn't all that bad and that I was gifted with such a beautiful upbringing by virtue of your existence in this world and your decision to be intentional about how you raise me. And that helped me extend gratitude today towards you this Father's Day. Thank you, your daughter, Bolele.
That is Princess. I think after that letter, there's nothing that I wish more for you than for him to finally find his way home.
Yeah, I think that is my biggest wish, you know. And when we did part ways, I said to him, I hope you find your way back.
Yeah.
And he might not have heard me because it was like, but I do. I think my dad would be standing as a very proud man today if he did not allow the illusions to become his life, you know. He would be standing as... I honestly feel like in the 5 years that we have been estranged, if we were not estranged, there's a lot I would have done that would have him feel like, that is my care. That's, you know.
There's a lot that his presence meant.
Yes, there's a lot that his presence meant that gave me the confidence to be like, let's go.
Thugging it out.
You know?
Yeah.
And when I had to then reconfigure and figure it out and try to find that confidence and I wasn't even able to create. I wasn't even able to, like, you know, be the person that I know I can be. So it's only now in my healing that things are now, you know, being reestablished. And I know he will still be like, no, that's my child. That's my daughter. But I don't think it will have the same pride that it would have had if our relationship was good.
I need you to also stop letting this wound keep you down.
Yeah, no, it's enough.
I think the world is ready for you.
Yeah.
You just need to open that door. It's unlocked.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
And I need him to also find his way back home before Modimo Amokgopola, because that is also going to be a layer of a wound.
Yeah, it will be.
That will unfortunately probably take you 100 steps back.
100%. You know, when I was still in my angry days, my angry times, the dark jokes would come. Yeah, maybe he must just, you know. And I was angry. I was upset because it felt like I lost my mom because of him, you know? And now in my healing state, I'm able to recognize that, no, even if Modimo Amokgopola, I will be sad. I will be broken.
Because it doesn't mean you don't love him.
Yeah, I still love him a whole lot. Oh, I love that man so much. It's my dad, bro. It's my dad.
That's the man you are going to be of Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah, exactly.
You were Oprah Winfrey to him.
He was supposed to be the guest in France. The guest in France when I welcome like big, massive guests, you know. And it's just like, welcome to, you know. And he's supposed to be like, oh, we called it and here it is, you know. He's still got time.
I hope he watches this and realizes that his kids will always be waiting for him.
Yeah.
To just come back home.
Yeah.
The door is always open.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Oh
for
my
coming.
gosh. Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were not gonna cry. I had
space.
hope in us.
Oh, girl,
damn.
I
We
knew,
lost that battle.
I knew we were gonna cry because I was just like, oh, in my couple of experiences that I've had with Kia, I know that
we weep for a living.
Like, you just enter her space and your spirit already is just like, so now imagine when you're unpacking and all of that. This is what happens.
When she's intentionally getting it out of you.
Exactly. Then it's just like, you know, when you're growing up. No, but you know when you're growing up and you know, like your parents bow shout and then
kiss baby time.
And you're just like, so now even in this moment, there's a moment where you're just like,
it's a safe space, safe enough for you to let it out. If we must ugly cry, we must ugly cry. But for you at home watching this, if there's anything I would like you to take away from this episode, it is that it's not your fault. As the child, it's not your fault. They being the fathers, they are dealing with much bigger demons that you could ever imagine. And yes, giving them grace is the solution might sound tedious or might sound like it's small, but it goes a long way. And it plays a great deal in them healing as well. And so even if today it's just that you want to do for your father, give them grace, try it. Let's see how that could also heal you Oh my goodness. I'm going to repeat that. It is not your fault.
Yeah.
They choose what they choose. And that has no, that means nothing to how you were raised.
Yeah.
And how much they love you and what you are and who you are and how you choose to show up in the world. I hope you show up a better person than they do. That is it from me and Bolele. I'm dressed by Yellow Sub Trading as always. For me, your host, Keamogetswe Matlala, till the next one.